Hello and welcome. Today we have the finals week 1 predictions. Apologies for the late release. It's a clean slate for these teams who now need to focus on one thing, and that is winning. Teams should be moving towards full health and we should be subjected to some great matches. The first fixture we have is Brisbane taking on Richmond. Brisbane aren't at their highest form at this time of year and they smoked by Melbourne 2 weeks ago. Their first half was abysmal and they displayed a lack of hunger that you flag as worrying, given they'll be taking on opponents who are the complete opposite and you know what you're going to get. It seemed like it was deja vu at times with the knack at which they were giving goals away. Simple crumbing by the Demons Smalls and no resistance. Richmond took care of Essendon last time out, kicked a mammoth score in what was a well-rounded effort but wasn't a surprising result. This game, like many others, is incredibly difficult to pick. Richmond will get Dusty back, and a few years ago you'd be scared, but not as much now. Having said that, Dusty still has that knack to change a game and he could easily do it here. Richmond dropped Shane Edwards strangely, but you'd back the selectors for making the correct call. Brisbane will blood a debutant this week in Darcy Wilmot. He's got rapid pace off half-back, so that could be a weapon that Richmond won't be aware of. Having said that, the inexperience could also come back to bite them in this part of the field. I'm going to back Richmond for the upset. Brisbane have lost some valuable assets on the field since they last took to the Gabba, and I think Richmond came into the pre-finals bye with a full head of steam. Given the stakes, I think Richmond will get it done, and Brisbane infamously suck at the venue in finals. Direction points to the Tigers. Next matchup on Friday night sees Melbourne take on the Swans. Both teams will be going into this largely unchanged, having both won last time out. The D's have had a couple character-filled wins to close the season out. They should regain Salem for this one, but McDonald is still a bit away. The Swans didn't put the Saints away last game until the very end. They'll be very ecstatic that Tom Papley will overcome his concussion to play an important contest. This one at the MCG, the Swans have had a mixed bag of results, beating this very team at this very venue, but losing to Essendon as well. Yet again, another tough one to pick, and once again, I'm going to go with the away side. I think the midfields stack up very evenly. I think the Melbourne backline will do well against Sydney. But I don't know if their forward line has the potency to breach the Swans' defence. Piquet and Fritsch will need to have big matches if they are to have any chance, much like they did in the last game of the year when they kicked 8 goals combined. I think they are the difference in what will be a tight game that could go either way. However, I'm going with my gut, Swans will win. The twilight fixture on Saturday will see the Cats take on Collingwood in a qualifying final. Geelong have seemed to cruise their way to the finish line, effortlessly dispatching West Coast with ease by 85 points. Their opponents took out Carlton in devastating fashion, coming from behind at three-quarter time to win by a solitary point. Collingwood have become the new Richmond in terms of being fourth-quarter specialists. But not by demolishing opponents and breaking the game open, but grinding their way out in close situations. I've heaped praise on Collingwood for having a sound 22 that all play their role, and that usually makes the job much easier without over-reliance. Scott Pendlebury's experience and composure in situations that are the complete opposite is why they were able to get the job done against the Blues. They'll need to bring their A game against the Cats, no mistakes can be made. The Cats will be host to a number of really good inclusions, combining for a crap ton of experience. Cameron, Stanley, Duncan, the list goes on. Earlier this year, Collingwood went out the blocks fast, then lost a 37-point lead. I can't see that happening again given their growth in closing games out, but Geelong look scarier than ever and look extremely cohesive. I think Tyson Stengel will be an underappreciated, incredibly important player in this result. He's got a poor output against top 8 teams, so if he can break out of the slump, it could be a difference. I'm going to go with Geelong. They've just looked faultless, and unless Collingwood can make it interesting and keep it close where they seem to cope best, Collingwood will be playing again next week. Last game of the first week of the finals and the Dockers play the Bulldogs. I must premise that the Dogs were incredibly lucky to make the top 8 and haven't played of the standard all year. Having said that, the finals create a clean slate, and any team can knock anyone off on their good day. Fremantle will be aided by a boost in the tolls department whilst Nat Fyfe's injury toll worsens. Liberatore will be out for the Dogs after having not missed one game this year, and I think that's a huge out. He probably would have tried to lock Brayshaw down and make every disposal of his much tougher. The Dogs are largely inconsistent, you really don't know what you're going to get from their keys both forward and back, and they definitely can't afford the wrong side of that when they take on the Dockers. Fremantle know how to play their ground, and whilst the Dogs on paper have the personnel to get it done, I also think they've been lacking and underperforming this year. The Dockers have solidified a best 22, and they are going into the finals with 3 straight, albeit unconvincingly, and one of those having been against the Dogs away. It'll be a battle, but looking at a folio of performances this season, the Dockers will win. Get excited, it's going to be a great weekend of footy. Like and subscribe to stay tuned for my next lot of predictions next week. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Peace out.